Design or Die podcast, meant to connect creatives together and help you navigate the struggles and the triumphs of what it means to be an entrepreneur so that you and your business can thrive. I'm your host, Collette. Let's get creative. Hi, happy International Women's Day. I feel like it's so amazing that I'm recording this on this day. Like, it's so fitting for this podcast. So if you're a woman, if you're a mother, a friend, a lover, any kind of woman out there, celebrate yourself today. Not only today, but every single day for all that you do, because you are amazing. Today I want to talk about a few things. So I want to talk about small business owners supporting other small businesses and managing your business through a pandemic. I don't know about you guys, but lately everything just feels super heavy. All the stuff going on with Ukraine and the pandemic, it feels like anytime we get a break, it's completely interrupted by another tragic happening. So listen, if you need to take a break from whatever you're doing, please do that for your mental health. If you need a break from social media, I know I do. Take it, because you'll feel so much better and refreshed. Unfortunately, we can't solve all the world's problems by ourselves, and taking that all in is just been so much. I know that's a collective thing we've all felt these past few years. Again, if you need the break, if you need to slow down a minute, please do that for yourself, because everything just feels like too much right now, and I totally relate to that. And oh my gosh, it's actually snowing here so violently. I didn't even know it was supposed to snow today till I had a client I'm meeting up with later for a consultation. I was like, hey, are we canceling because of the weather? And I was like, what weather? And now I'm like, oh gosh, it's coming down hard, and it's supposed to snow till midnight, I think. So 12 hours straight. So anyway, on my first topic, I want to talk about small businesses supporting other small businesses. Now, this sounds like duh, but you'd be surprised how many people don't. And I genuinely feel like if you want people to support your business, you have to be supporting other businesses. How do you expect someone to want to buy from you when you, as a creative business owner, do not extend the same respect to other business owners? This can be done in so many ways. For example, if you're ordering something for business purposes, a logo, branding, or other small business owner, even if it's local, that you can be supporting right now, especially after all this pandemic nonsense. So, for example, I had a lot of art colleagues in school who also, after college, were selling their artwork or paintings or photography or anything like that. And one of them particular, I'm not going to name names, but they needed prints for their work, and they gloated about, hiring this mass-produced business for their prints. And at the time, I was actually doing printing as well. So I did graphic design and printing at the time. And it's not even about ordering from me. I wasn't butthurt that they didn't order from me. I was more so having worked in print shops so long, I promise you there's local shops around wherever you are that you can use who not only are going to produce better work, but they usually have artists and creatives running it. So they know the best way to do something. They're going to make sure your work looks representational of your original art. Those are the things that you're not going to get from shopping big. A lot of times they're just regular workers. They don't have a background in what they're actually producing. For example, Staples, UPS is now trying to be a marketing printing platform, and oh my god, I've used them before in an extreme time crunch, and it is literally jaw-droppingly horrible. Yeah, just save yourself the time and the hassle, and try to use people that are around you. Use your connections. This is a big misconception. I feel like people think that going with a small business owner means spending more money. If you run your own business, I totally understand when you need to buy your supplies or inventory from cheaper. But in terms of other things that may take a little more creative input, that you could totally be supporting a small business. I've even had friends and family members who have bought prints for their nursery or their home from, let's say, Hobby Lobby. Now, I've gone into Hobby Lobby a million times. When I was in college in Carrollton, that was the only art supply store anywhere remotely close to where I was. Props to them for that. They had a great art supplies section. But in terms of like their prints and artwork to hang on your wall, I've checked them out and they're not cheap. Maybe for like a painting of a cactus framed is like $50. Like that's not cheap. Not only is it not that cheap, it's not great quality and it's probably going to break in, a month or whatever. And you can, and that was when I was selling my own artwork, like commission paintings and things like that. And a lot of times I'll offer prints of my work, so it's like a cheaper option. My prints are way cheaper than that. Other small business owners' prints are way cheaper than that too. So buy your own frame. You can even, thrift it from Goodwill or antique shops for really cheap. Buy prints and you have a one-of-a-kind, like, beautiful artwork in your house that's not just like something you picked up because it was like more convenient. So I do understand. I think that's why a lot of times people do shop like bigger brands, is the convenience of it. If you're just like shopping around Target, you're like, oh, I want this, this, and this, and this. I will say Target has like really grown a lot. Like I love buying all my clothes there now, and I'll buy a little like fake plants when I have an event coming up that I want to like spruce up my table and things like that. But it definitely is like a cheaper quality. And I just feel like if you're promoting your business, how can you expect people to buy from you when you're not valuing small businesses yourself? Who are you marketing to? If you don't support that, and if you're creative and you're not supporting that, then who is going to support you? That's how I feel about it. And I do get a lot of times people just have this notion that shopping small is like elitist and only, people with money can afford it. And I just think that's like not true necessarily, especially with the pandemic going on. I specifically shopped small last year for Christmas for everyone. So like anyone that sent me their Christmas list, I'm like, yeah, cool. But like, no, I'm only shopping small. But it's like I would search for things that maybe were on their list that I could get from a small business, or I can still curate a gift that is very much them. And it may take a little bit more digging and time to find that. But I think that person you're giving the gift to is going to appreciate it that much more because it is made from someone who put their time and effort into creating like something unique. It'll just pay off in the end. And a lot of times the prices are comparable. On Amazon, for example, some of those do go to small businesses, but you can look at the pricing and go on Etsy and there's probably something like very similar. And just small businesses have struggled so much these past few years that I think it's really important to support them. And not only that, know where your money is going. When you're supporting a big brand, you might not like agree with, let's say, where their charities are being donated to, for organizations that you don't align with. Whereas small business owner, probably a lot of them use like recycled materials, they reduce, reuse, and maybe align more with like who you are too. Think about where your money is actually going. Side note, it's so interesting on days where I want to record, like if I don't have stuff already flowing in my brain, it's really hard sometimes to come up with wording. And then it just shows you when I'm talking about something I'm super passionate about, like small businesses supporting other small businesses, the words just kind of like flow out. So it's just so interesting. So the next thing I want to talk about is owning a small business and navigating that during the pandemic. I know we've all had to adjust all of our businesses in one way or another to accommodate this. It's pretty much becoming long-term now. So in the past few years, we've needed to kind of pivot our business in one way or another. I know a lot of creators switched up like what they're doing completely, or they just stopped doing their business in general, which I also understand. One of my favorite small businesses that makes like custom apparel and memo pads and stickers and things like that, they just announced today that they're having to close their shop because they were laid off from their full-time job, which is just so upsetting that it's so hard to run a business because sometimes it just really doesn't make the money that you need to support your family and your lifestyle. And I understand that. And that's why I reiterate again how important it is to shop small. If you're like the rest of us and you've had to pivot or you're thinking about pivoting, kind of really had to put your creativity to use and think of a way that you can still do what you're doing, but make it accessible to people and affordable. For example, some people that do like art classes, maybe they switch to like virtual classes and even voice lessons. I've seen people on TikTok who are like Broadway singers, and of course Broadway has stopped, and so they've actually started offering online voice lessons, which I've even considered doing, and I'm not a singer at all, but it's something that I enjoy so much. I don't know what it is, but something about people's voices and like singing and just the passion behind it and the emotion behind it is just so beautiful to me. So I've even considered doing it because, again, like I love hearing people sing, but I can't really do that. Like I'm on pitch, but it was even getting me to want to do it. So kind of have to be creative in the way that you're changing your business, and maybe you have to market on new platforms. Reels are so important now, and I think that is because during the pandemic, TikTok started up because people were bored in their houses and they wanted something fun to do. And that's why I enjoy it, is because it's a lot of times just like for fun. It becomes business too at some points when you're really trying to market your brand. But it was just something fun to do that we can all kind of do together, even though we're not in the same space. And when we're all stuck in our houses, it's like, hey, we're all doing the same stupid dance like in our house. I really think it was a great way to get people to still laugh sometimes and not stay stuck in that negative space, especially when you're alone or you live alone. You can feel connected. And I think that's the most powerful thing about social media, is to connect people. And I have friends and other like business owner friends that live across the world, and we've been connected for like 10 years on the internet. We've never met. Some of them I might be meeting this year, which would be really cool. But social. So if you're at that point where you feel like you need to switch it up in any way, even if that's like leaving your business behind for a little bit and doing something for yourself, I recommend doing it. Whatever, what's best for you. And if that means pivoting and starting to offer something different or hone in and focus on one thing and maybe up your prices in that area, that's how you stay successful in this world. And you have to adjust with the times. And this is definitely an unforeseeable trend, but it's kind of what needs to happen to make it still an option. Like I said in my last post, a lot of people have done like virtual assisting jobs, which weren't a thing really a couple years ago as much as they are now. I actually just picked up a part-time job outside of the house where I'll be a children's art instructor at a kid's art studio. And that is more so for me to keep my mental peace, because I'm actually an extrovert. And so I need to have like socialization and be around people. And I love children. It's just something where I can like actually get dressed and go outside and go do something different, because I do work from home and everything's remote. So it's like I'm by myself all day. I got my dogs and me, and that's what it is. So I had to make that call. For a while I was just like, oh, I'm like so depressed. I'm like, what is it? Because I'm living my best life essentially. Like I run my own businesses. I have 2 dogs, a nice house. I live in an area that I really enjoy now. I'm married. So I'm like, so what am I missing here? And I found out that's what it was. I needed more connection and I needed more socialization. And I'm sure a lot of us are feeling that right now. I know there's plenty of people who don't want that at all, which I personally just can't relate to. I understand it. Probably this is the first time ever since the pandemic started, I realized I needed more time to myself as well. And that means for me, like non-sensory inducing things. So like I need no stimuli, just to like be in a space and put a nice little light on and just be present and be quiet for a while, which I've never had to do in my life. I've kind of thrived on chaos. Yeah, it's just interesting navigating and just figuring out what works for you, I think, is the best way to navigate this.